So whenever we talk about enough, it should be enough x to y. All right. So tall enough to touch. And again, after to it should be verb. Remember, whenever we use consider, after consider we never use any other word. Like I consider you a smart boy. So if I write I consider you as a smart boy, it becomes incorrect sentence. So why? Because after consider between two nouns or two words, we never put any other word like to be or as. So the correct sentence should be I consider you a smart boy. All right. Same time, when we use declare, the same rule is applied. Whenever it is declare, it's in what? Again, declare x, y. So if I write I declare you as a teacher. So again, it is incorrect. Why? Because after declare, as should not be used. Fine. So there are two words, consider and declare, where we do not use any word. Take a short look.
Done.
All right. Aditya?
Yeah, I'm finished as well.
Okay. So the same point here. Look here. When it is agree, in that case, if it is next to agrees person, in that case it should be with, otherwise to or upon. So what if sentence is I agree with my friend's idea? Is it correct sentence?
No,
All
because
right.
it
What
should
should
be
be?
I agreed to my friend's idea.
All right. Why to not with?
Because with is with like another person, but when you agree to something or upon something, and because it's idea, it should be
All
with.
right. So here it is not about friend, but it is about idea. So the point is, and we have to always be cautious about that what word it is being used. Same time, another word. When we use price, the word price. So price can be higher or lower, increase, decrease. And if we use another types of word for the price, in that case we should be very alert about error. Same time, remember, when it is declare, know as to be. If it is regard, know as to be. But when it is, sorry, when it is declare and
Can I read
consider,
a
know as
question?
to be. But when it is regard, we can use as or to be either. So if I write I regard you a teacher, it is incorrect. Why? Because after regard there should be as. So the correct sentence should be I regard you as a teacher. Remember, when we talk about rates especially, so rate refers to price charged. So in that case, rate 4 should be the correct one. So rates for telephone service have increased. Rate of rates of telephone service have increased now. All right. So when the sense
Yeah.
is to talk about charges, Shreya is saying something.
Yeah, I had a question. The first point you talked about prices can only be higher or lower. Could you like expand on that? Like give an example? I didn't quite get it.
So yeah. So price of laptop was little higher than what I expected.
In contrast to like what else
In
you could
contrast to, I mean, the cost.
no, like if you're saying that's the right way of saying it, what's the commonly misused way of saying it?
Okay, so like when we use more or less, prices is more than what I expected. In case of more, it should be higher.
Okay, so instead of saying more or less, you have to say higher or lower.
Fine. So when thinking words such as theory, belief, or believe are often followed by that. So any word that is related to sense, after such words we generally use that. Like I consider that, I believe that, regard that, suggest that, request that. All right. Same time, when it is persuade X to do Y. So here it should be between X, after X it should be verb. Fine, Shreya? Aditya, fine?
Yeah.
Take a short look, very crucial.
Done.
All right. Aditya, done?
Yeah.
All right. So remember, whenever we talk about many, few, or number, after these words, verb and noun both should be plural. So when we say few, so few says incorrect, few is incorrect, few has incorrect. It should be few say, few are, few have. All right. Same time, many has no, many is no, many does no. It should be many do, many are, many have. And next point is noun. So many books, few friend, no, few friends. Same time, number of friend, no, number of friends. All right. So whenever we use many, few, number, noun and verb, both should be plural. Same time, if it is much, little, amount, so much, little, amount. In that case, it will be uncountable noun and always singular. So, much water or much speaks, little water, little flows, amount of tea, subs. So, with these words, we always use singular. Fine, Aditya? Shreya, are you online? Aditya, any doubts?
No.
All
Clear.
right. I'm back in 30 seconds. By the time read it. Yeah, dear. So the point was whenever we talk about between, in that case, only two entities. So whenever we talk about between two entities, but remember, when we talk about among, there can be either one or more than two. Either one or more than two, it can three. So between x and y, but when it is among x, and whenever it is among x, it will be always countable noun and it should be plural. Example, among friends. All right. So we cannot say among water. All right. It should be in water. So otherwise, we can use three entities like I am among teacher, friend, and students. So look at, there are three entities. All right. So whenever we talk about between, two, among, three possibility, two possibilities. First, it can be countable noun. Second, in case of three entities, it can be anything. But whatever it will be, it should be parallel. I mean, if we use more than two, x, y, z, so it should be parallel. Now, the next is very common one, and that is called run-on sentence. Run-on sentence means what? Whenever there are two clauses, and that is called subject and verb. Only comma cannot be used. Between two clauses, there must be conjunction. Now, the question is, can we use comma before but or without but? So there is no particular rule. Both are fine. Before or, before but, before nor. Comma can be used or can be omitted. Fine, Aditya, what I said? Shreya?
Yeah.
Shri, fine?
Yeah.
Take a look.
Done.
Altya?
Yeah, I'm finished as well.
All right. Okay. So now the point is when we talk about increase and decrease, represent the change of one thing over time. It's mean shifting, greater or less, signals a comparison between two things. So whenever we talk about greater than is correct only when it is used to describe number alone. If a sentence measures a percent rather than solely a number, the correct option is more than. So what does it mean? Remember, when we talk about more than, it is not comparison, but we talk general sense of increase. But when we compare to digit, in that case, it should be greater than. Example, 5 is greater than 3, 1000 is greater than 900. Now price of silver is greater than price of copper. So when we talk about price, it means what? There is some digit like $500, $600, $700. Fine. So in case of greater, it should be digit. Remember, in exam in general, when we have two options between whether and if, whether is given more preference instead of if. If is used when we talk about comparison, sorry, condition. All right. So if goes with conditional sentence. Fine, Aditya, Shreya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finished reading.
Yeah, I'm
Shreya.
done as well. Yeah.
Okay. If you remember, we have already discussed this point, right?
Yeah.
So the point is, remember, we have discussed last point the same thing. Remember, comma is very common one, and comma is used only for words, phrase, but not clause. Whenever we use any comma for clause, there must be additional conjunction. All right. So comma for word and phrase. How about semicolon? So semicolon means what? Is equal to conjunction. So in that case, whenever we use semicolon, it should be two independent clause. So when we talk about what? Semicolon, it should be two independent clause, both side, and it plays a role of and. How about colon? Remember, colon is actually contains both semicolon and comma, and that is why colon can be used for word I mean words, phrases, and even clause. But whenever we use, it should be listing. It's mean what? After colon, there should be same type of information. Example, I love listening to classical, rock, rock and pop music. So you will notice that listening to, and after that listening classical, rock and pop. So before classical it is listening to. There's no particular word. But I love many kinds of music. And after that classical rock, rock and pop music. So you will notice that here it is what? Next is listing of that music. So in case of colon, whatever we use, it should be sequence of it. Fine. Aditya, Shreya.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm, done.
I'm finished as well.
Yeah, dear. Aditya.
Yeah, I'm finished too.
All right. So, Shreya, did you get what is written here?
Where?
Yeah, did you get what is intention of the sentence is?
Yeah.
What is?
Which sentence?
Of course, the given example.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
what
because
is error?
so like it said that when you use because, it's usually to show a how do you say that?
Causal.
Causal relationship, but in that just qualifies the preceding part.
All right. So, why because is wrong? Remember. So, the point is in place of because, we use in that, and what will be condition. So whenever we use in that case, remember the second clause should explain first clause. So whenever we talk about in that case, second clause should explain first clause. And one more thing, if second clause describes if second clause describes verb, in that case it should be because. Example, I said because I was happy. So look at the second sentence. I was happy is describing the reason of said, right? Now, I am a teacher because I have degree. Now look at the sentence. Is it explanation of verb or noun?
Verb? Oh, sorry. Noun?
No, because
Noun.
yes, correct. Teacher means what? Teacher. In that case, here it should not be because, but in that. So the correct sentence will be I am a teacher. In that, I have degree. The same information here. So you will notice that second part is explanation of teratomus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the second part is not explanation of any verb, but teratomus. And that is why it should be in that rather than because. Okay?
Yeah. Um, on the previous slide, could you explain the part on the left?
Okay. So remember, when we talk about once, existence once, the word once is generally with verb and it describes verb. So whenever we use some specific word, in that case we should be little alert. Why? Because if you remember I said about adverb. Generally adverb is to describe verb, right? Or adjective. So because of location
Mm-hmm.
it keep on changing its meaning and that is why we should be little alert for that.
Okay.
Take a short look.
I'm done.
I'm finished as well.
All right. Okay, what is summary of it, Shreya?
Um, the summary is that a verb phrase is like a verb and its dependence, which would be an object or other modifiers, and then a noun phrase is yeah, a noun phrase is with like a determiner or
Hmm.
quantifier
Mm-hmm.
and a noun.
All right. Okay. So Aditya, did you get what it is all about?
Yeah,
Do you want an explanation? It's fine.
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, Nishi, Shri,
Yeah,
what is it all about?
it's just telling us what do you use the different phrases for, like how you have to use. For despite, you need to have a noun or a noun phrase, and then for because of, you need to have a verb phrase rather than the verbs instead of the nouns. Yeah.
Yeah, so whenever it is because of, in that case, it will be always verb or adjective modifier. Ultimately, it's a verb modifier. Fine. But when we it is despite or instead. So despite and instead is noun modifier, because of and rather than verb modifier. So the second part should be explanation of verb, and that you have to keep in mind.
Is it A?
Um, yeah, I think it's A as well.
Yeah, it is A.
E?
E for England.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's E as well.
Okay. Any other option you find that it is doubtful?
No.
I think it's B.
I think it's E. E or B. I'm not sure.
All right. Okay. So the finally it's B because C, uh, two conjunctions together.
Oh yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, answer is B.
I think it's B.
B. E.
Yeah, I think it's E as well. I think it's A.
Yeah, I think it's A as well.
Fine.
Is it E?
I think it's E or A.
Yeah.
Is it E?
Hmm.
Okay.
I hope you people will not take tea. Do you want, Shreya?
No.
Oh, Aditya?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right.
Is it E?
C. Sorry. No. E.
E for England?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, I think it's E again.
I don't know this one.
All right. Aditya, can you explain why E?
Um, well, because um, the so according to me at least, in B, C, and D, the should raise, would need, and have to need wouldn't match the rest of the sentence. Um, and then I wasn't sure between A and E, but to me it seemed like E was more accurate.
All right. So, number one, compete against. No, it should be compete with.
Okay.
Reason number one. Reason number two, to be able to can be written in short. They want to be able to, very simple. They want to compete or they can compete. All right.
Yes.
Now, second, yeah, no, fine. So, second option B, when public companies should raise their, when we use wish and should, not altogether. Did you get the reason why? Because wish is related to sense, and that is why it should be simple present tense.
Yeah.
Now, compete against. Reason number one, need to raise to their if they wish to compete with. Same time, if it is wish, in that case, it should not be would.
Okay.
Now, option D, number one, have to, need to, exaggeration. They are to be in competition. Extension of sentence. So E becomes best option.
A.
Um, I think. 1 second. Yeah, I think it's A as well.
Remember, in exam, you have to look at that really what is the precise one. So is
Mm-hmm.
the requirement can be written to require.
Mm-hmm.
Is the requirement means require, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the surest way of stopping, instead it should be surest way to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever we talk about purpose, it should be to plus verb. Next, require is non-continuous verb. Require, need, want, know, understand, remember. So requiring know. Fine. So A,
Yeah.
B, D out. C and E has been to require, and which is pseudofedrine. In short, can be written only pseudofedrine is fine, and that is why C becomes best option.
Okay. D.
Um, I think it's C.
Oh no, I meant C as well. Not getting, but gets.
All right. Yeah. Fine. So let it be this much for today. All
Mm-hmm.
right.